Traveling by plane is considered one of the safest journeys in the world. However, if, God forbid, any accident or plane crash were to happen, surviving with the passengers seems almost impossible. But in today's video, I'm going to tell you about the world's luckiest people who survived plane crashes. Let's start our countdown. 1. Cecilia Cichon. In the year 2000, a flight from Minnesota to Michigan in the United States was carrying 149 passengers and 6 crew members. Among the passengers was a family with a 4-year-old daughter named Cecilia Cichon. The flight was ready for takeoff, and the pilot took off properly. However, just a few feet above the ground, the plane's left wing suddenly collided with a light pole. The pilot tried hard to regain control, but before he could stabilize it, the left wing caught fire. The plane crashed straight onto a city road. The crash was so horrifying that it was unimaginable that anyone could survive. However, rescue teams arrived, searching for survivors. After a while, they heard a faint cry beneath the wreckage. It was the voice of 4-year-old Cecilia Cichon. She was miraculously found alive. Despite severe injuries, including broken legs and arms, she was taken to the hospital. Cecilia's parents, unfortunately, did not survive the crash. 2. Rube van Asu. In 2010, an African airline flight was heading from South Africa to Libya. Ruben van Asu, a 9-year-old boy, was traveling with his family. The flight was normal, and the pilot safely brought the plane to Libya. Before landing, the pilot contacted air traffic control, received landing permission, and was given the runway number. However, as the plane approached, the landing gear malfunctioned, and instead of landing, the plane started descending rapidly toward the ground. The pilot struggled to control it, but it crashed before reaching the runway. The crash was so massive that not only the plane, but all passengers and crew, including the pilot, were presumed dead. However, rescue teams found a miracle amidst the wreckage. Ruben van Asu, the 9-year-old boy, was alive. Despite being the sole survivor of the catastrophic crash, he had suffered severe injuries. His parents did not survive the tragedy. 3. Julian Kupke. In 1971, a flight from South America to Peru was carrying 86 passengers and 6 crew members. Among the passengers was Julian Kupke, a young lady traveling to meet a friend. When the flight took off, the weather was normal. However, as the plane ascended, it entered a storm, and the weather suddenly worsened. Instead of diverting the plane, the pilot continued into the storm. Lightning struck the aircraft, causing it to catch fire. The plane crashed into the dense Amazon rainforest. The crash was so devastating that not only the plane, but all passengers and crew were presumed dead. Incredibly, Julian Kupke survived the crash. She fell from the sky still strapped to her seat and landed in the jungle. Despite suffering severe injuries, including a broken collarbone and a deep gash on her arm, she managed to survive in the dense jungle for 11 days before being rescued. Surviving such a horrific incident is nothing short of a miracle. While these individuals may have escaped with their lives, the loss of their loved ones and the trauma they endured are reminders of the fragility of life in the face of unforeseen circumstances. Despite the crash, the rescue team at 5-4 found the crash site and some dead bodies. Everyone believed that no one survived the incident, but that was not the case. Juliana, the lady, had survived the crash. When the plane crashed at 5:12, Juliana had lost consciousness. However, upon regaining consciousness after the crash at 5:19, she found herself on the plane's seat, wearing a seatbelt. Though she had injuries, she didn't lose hope and started finding a way out of the jungle at 5:28. When the rescue team was searching for the plane at 5:32, Juliana was not present, so no one knew she was wandering in the jungle. It was hard to believe that for 11 days, Juliana survived in the deserted jungle, hungry and injured. Even unaware of her location, continued searching. Eventually, one day, She was rescued by a machete at 5:53. Juliana returned to her family at 6:00, and despite the major crash, she had survived. The incident gained worldwide attention, not just for the crash, but also because Juliana survived for 11 days in the jungle. Surviving such a horrific incident is nothing short of a miracle. While these individuals may have escaped with their lives, the loss of their loved ones and the trauma they endured are reminders of the fragility of life in the face of unforeseen circumstances. A flight scheduled to depart over 11 days. The flight had 28 passengers and 6 crew members. Originally, Vasna was assigned to another flight, but due to a mix-up with another air hostess, she ended up on this flight. Unbeknownst to her, the plane had already reached the sky when authorities discovered her presence. Vasna began serving on the flight peacefully, but upon reaching Copenhagen, a powerful explosion occurred inside the luggage compartment, causing the plane to break into pieces midair. When the explosion happened, Vasna, with her crew's food trolley, was standing in the aisle. The plane crashed so severely that it disintegrated in the sky, and everything was destroyed. Authorities made extensive efforts to find the dead bodies, but only a few passengers' remains were recovered. On the day of the incident, Bruno, a man working in his field, heard a woman's cries for help. Upon investigation, he found Vasna trapped inside a trolley. Bruno immediately called the police, and upon their arrival, it was revealed that Vasna was not just any woman, but the sole survivor of the crash. Vasna, the eyewitness to the crash, claimed that someone had fixed a bomb inside the plane, leading to the mid-air crash. Despite being the only survivor, Vasna gained fame and even received a Guinness World Record for the highest fall without a parachute. However, surviving death is not easy, and Lady Luck truly smiled on her that day. So friends, that's all for today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video.